young lady out of TCU, has been reunited with Angel Reese. Now, you may be like, well, what's the big deal there? Because she already got the hell away from her once. She escaped her once.
Hailey Van Lith, TCU star. I think the 11th pick in the WNBA draft. She got drafted by the Chicago Sky. She used to be teammates with Angel Reese, who is the star. I wouldn't call her the best player on the Chicago Sky. She's the star of the Chicago Sky. People are gossiping that Van Lith wants nothing to do with playing with Angel Reese again. He transferred after 1 year at LSU.
What happens when you force someone to work with a person they couldn't stand the first time? We're about to find out with Hailey Van Lith and Angel Reese in Chicago. Van Lith's draft night reaction told us everything we needed to know. From star scorer at Louisville to corner statue at LSU, and now back with the teammate who helped tank her stats. But that's not even the wildest part of this story. Van Lith just threw gasoline on this fire by saying she'd cut Caitlin Clark in a game of start bench cut. The same Caitlin Clark who dropped 41 points on her in consecutive NCAA tournaments. May 17th can't come soon enough, the day Clark and Van Lith face off, and everyone's wondering if Van Lith just made the biggest rookie mistake before playing a single pro game. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
With the 11th pick in the 2025 WNBA draft, the Chicago Sky select Hailey Van Lith, Texas Christian University.
Okay, the facial expression did look a little, I guess, uneasy.
Okay, good energy with Courtney Vandersloot. You can learn from her. You're paired back with Angel Reese. There's some good energy you can walk into in Chicago, right?
Oh, I love that energy. We're ready.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I love that energy. You know, she had a chance to drop. Great. Angel and I are familiar with each other from LSU. This is going to be awesome. Just easy, natural comments to make. It's my understanding that every one of those teammates at LSU hated playing with Angel Reese.
Did you see Hailey Van Lith's face when the Chicago Sky picked her in the draft? That wasn't just disappointment painted across her expression, it was pure dread. The cameras caught every painful second as her smile completely vanished, replaced by what looked like genuine horror. While most rookies are jumping up and down, hugging family members, and living their best moment, Van Lith looked like she'd just been sentenced to basketball prison. The contrast couldn't have been more stark. Just minutes before, other players were celebrating their dreams coming true. Angel Reese was all smiles with her family, Caitlin Clark was embracing her supporters, and Cameron Brink was glowing with pride. Then there's Van Lith, sitting there looking like she'd rather be anywhere else in the world. The joy that's supposed to define draft night, completely absent. But the real jaw-dropper came during her post-draft interview. When asked about reuniting with her former LSU teammate Angel Reese, Van Lith gave what might be the fakest response in draft night history. With a tight-lipped expression and dead eyes, she managed to squeeze out, "Oh, I love that energy." The internet immediately pounced on this moment, with fans and critics alike mimicking her painfully insincere delivery. You could practically hear the sarcasm dripping from her words. So what's behind this awkward reunion that has basketball fans buzzing? To understand Van Lith's reaction, we need to look at her journey over the past year. At Louisville, she was an absolute star, the player the offense ran through, averaging nearly 20 points per game and building a reputation as one of college basketball's premier guards. She was the centerpiece, the go-to scorer, the player with the ball in her hands when it mattered most. Then came the transfer to LSU, where everything changed. Suddenly, Van Lith was transformed from star player to corner statue. Her scoring average plummeted by over 40%, dropping to just 11.6 points per game. That's not just a slight dip, that's a player being completely relegated to a secondary role.
Always have to deal with locker room issues. That's just part of coaching. In 40 years, I can never think of a time where I didn't have to deal with issues. That's what coaches do. Sometimes y'all know about them and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you want to know more than you're entitled to know. I'm going to protect my players, always. They are more important. It's like a family, Scott. Let me ask you this. If you do some disciplining of your own children. Do you think we're entitled to know that?
Does not look like a girl that was excited to be selected where she was selected. And Jason, I think if I'm reading in between the lines, these two did not enjoy playing with each other the first time. So I don't know why either one of them would be excited to run it back. I think could there maybe, Jason, do I detect some potential jealousy maybe here between Angel Reese, who wants to be the central figure in every story that she's a part of, including the little feud, the beef between with her and Caitlin Clark?
The game footage tells the story even more clearly. Watch any LSU game from last season, you'll see the same pattern over and over. Van Lith stationed in the corner, hands up, calling for passes that rarely came. Meanwhile, Angel Reese dominated possessions, shots, offensive rebounds, and the spotlight. Van Lith wasn't just having an off year, she was being systematically marginalized within the offensive scheme. This strategic sidelining goes beyond just stats. Basketball players at this level have spent their entire lives as the focal point of their teams. Being suddenly relegated to a corner specialist isn't just about fewer points. It's about identity. It's about going from the player who makes things happen to the player who watches things happen. What makes this situation even more revealing are reports that surface suggesting some of Van Lith's LSU teammates hated playing with Angel Reese. These whispers put Van Lith's draft night reaction in a whole new context. She wasn't just disappointed about her draft position, she was dreading repeating what appears to have been a miserable experience at LSU. There's also a mental health component that makes this situation particularly concerning. As commentator Jason Whitlock pointed out, Van Lith has been open about her struggles with mental health. Her transfer to TCU was clearly an attempt to find a healthier environment. Now, being drafted to Chicago feels like a cruel cosmic joke, forcing her back into the very situation she deliberately left behind. This isn't just about basketball anymore. It's about a player who sought refuge from a difficult situation only to be thrust right back into it on the biggest night of her professional career. No wonder her face fell when Chicago's selection was announced. It wasn't just about disappointment, it was about genuine concern for her well-being. All of this raises serious questions about the Chicago Sky's team chemistry before the season even begins. How will these two former teammates coexist after what appears to have been a fractured relationship at LSU? Will Van Lith once again find herself relegated to the corner while Reese dominates possessions? Or will a professional environment with experienced coaches help bridge whatever divide existed between them in college? Let me tell you, May 17th is about to be absolute fireworks in the WNBA. The Chicago Sky versus Indiana Fever matchup has transformed into must-see TV, and not just because of the Caitlin Clark factor. Van Lith's comments have poured gasoline on what was already a blazing hot ticket. The pressure's all on Van Lith now. Clark already cooked her for 41 points, twice during their college days. Nothing to prove there. You gotta wonder if the Sky locker room is already feeling the tension. Van Lith might be regretting opening her mouth and creating drama with both her new teammate and the biggest name in women's basketball right now.